Hi guys, in this video we're going to talk about rounding. Now Mr. Gessler and I had a conversation about rounding. He thinks that it's very important that you understand why you should round and when it's okay to round. So I'm going to talk about this in terms of the last video about accuracy and precision. You round because you're not really sure about the rest of the digits. When we are doing calculations, sometimes when you use a calculator, it spits out a very long, ugly number, and we don't really care what that ugly number is because we don't know all those digits. So we round to a particular number of digits. Now, if you take chemistry in college later on, they're going to make you learn this stuff called significant figures. And it will help you, if you know significant figures, then you know exactly how many digits you should round every single time. For our purposes this year, we're going to ask you to round to a particular number of digits in the question. So you're going to have to pay attention to how many digits to round to. So let's get cracking on the next slide. Okay, so here we go. The first thing we're going to talk about is the difference between rounding and truncating. Rounding and truncating things is something you do in math class. When you truncate, you literally just cross off the last digits and jot down your new number. Truncating, that's truncating. Truncating is useful in some statistical situations, but not in our class. We would rather round instead. Rounding is better because in rounding, what you do is you pay attention to this next number, and it tells you what to do with this one. In our case, that 8 is going to make that 5 turn into a 6, so we would write down 4.9646. That is rounding. Truncating is not what we're going to do, so we're not going to be truncating and just dropping off the numbers. What we're going to be doing is rounding. Okay, so let's look at some examples and talk about when to round and how to round. Okay, so when you need to round, you first need to know how many digits you're going to be rounding to. And when we talk about the number of digits in here, we're going to use the term the number of decimal places. And what we mean when we say the number of decimal places is it's the number of places past the decimal. So you can have however many numbers in front of the decimal you might need, but you need to have X number of decimal places after. So this would be the first, second, third, and you could keep going on. I think most of ours have you rounding to 2 or 3 decimal places and sometimes only 1. You're going to need to pay attention to the question to find out how many decimal places you need to round to. So then the next thing we have to do is figure out what to do with those numbers. Okay, so when you're rounding, the first thing you do is find the last decimal place that you're going to keep. Find the last number to keep. This is the one you're going to write down, but we have to decide what we're going to do with it first. So the first thing we have to do is find it. So if you're looking for the third decimal, here, let me get a number here, 8.423.94651. Okay? Calculators sometimes will spit out some ugly numbers like that. We don't really care about all of those. So let's say the question says that you want to round this to 3 decimal places. Then the last number that we really want to keep is that 3. So there it is. I found it. Did you see? I found the 3. Okay, there's our last number that we're going to keep. So then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at the next number. That's the number to the right. In our case here, that next number is a 9. That next number 9, before we get rid of everything, that 9 tells us what we're going to do with the number. If that number is a, let's write this in pink here. If it is 5 and higher, then you increase your number by 1. If it is 4 and lower, then there's no change. No change, okay? So if I'm going to write down this answer here, which I don't think I can do very well, if I'm going to write down this answer here, nope, I can't, okay. My answer is going to be 8.42, and then 9 tells me to turn that 3 into a 4. So there's my answer for rounding that number. So let's see a few more examples here. Okay, so here's our example. We have 3.5298 and we need to round this to 2 decimal places. All right, so the first thing I have to do is find my last number. Decimal places, 1, 2. So this 2 is my last number. Next thing I do is I find the next digit to the left. That one's going to tell me what to do. That 9 is bigger than 5, so I'm going to make my 2 go up. So I'll have 3.53. Easy peasy, right? I know you're thinking, this is dumb. Why are we rounding numbers? Well, we don't want you to write down every calculator, but we also want you to be able to get questions right on Schoology, and it's going to expect you to round appropriately. So you got to be able to do this. Next example. Okay, so now we have 63.4295164, and we want to round this to 1 decimal place. There it is. There's my 1 decimal place. So this 2 is going to tell me what to do next. That 2 is less than 5, so I'm not going to change the 4. 63.4 will be my answer. Now, one of the common mistakes is that if it's less than 5, it makes the number go down, and so someone might want to write down 63.3, but that's not right. You don't make it go down, you just don't make it go up. That's a little different. Okay, last example. 769.0149865521, and we want to round this to 2 decimal places. Okay, so here's our second decimal place. It's that 1 right there, and we need to know about this 4 right next to it and what that tells us. I do want to show you one example that I find really funny. Okay, so this is what I see some students doing sometimes. They take this 769.0149. Oh, that's an ugly 4. 149865521. And they say, okay, well, the 1 doesn't make the 2 go up, so that's 769.01498652. The 2 doesn't make the 5 go up, so that's 769.01498665. The 5 makes the 6 go up, so that's 769.014987. The 7 makes the 8 go up, so that's 776. Whoa, hello, I changed my numbers. That should say 769. So now we have 769.01499. That 9 makes that 9 go up. So that's 769.014. And actually the 4, 9. In order to make that 9 go up, I have to add 1 to the 4. So this is really going to be 150. That O doesn't make the 5 change, so it's 769.015. That 5 makes the 1 go up to 769.02. This is bad. That was a big waste of time. That is not how you round. That is called consecutive rounding. That is wrong. That is not how rounding works. It doesn't matter about these digits at all. Nobody gives a crap about those, okay? Once you know how many places to round it to, the next number matters, that 4, and that's it, okay? That 4 says don't change the 1, so the real answer is 769.01, which is different when we do that consecutive rounding bit. Now, I have seen some pretty ridiculous consecutive rounding. Don't do it, okay? Always just look at the next number and don't care about any of the other ones other than that one, okay? So if you have any questions about rounding, if you're going to do math with rounding, do all of your math first. That is so. Do all math first, then round. Okay, so that means that if you have to do more than one calculation, you're going to have to keep all of those numbers in your calculator until the very end. Only round at the very end. Okay, all right, ask if you have questions. Thanks for watching.